La Trappe. I did a stumbly improv yesterday. It was okay, I let it go, but it provoked this repetition, deeper dive. If we belong to a group with genuine generational trauma, is that our defining condition? Do we get beyond it? Do we want to? Can we get free of it? Should we? Some of us do. Some of us fan it into flames and make it part of our self-definition. It is already part of us. But yes, should we move beyond it? And I think no. Unless it does you some good. Because I think that the people we need now are the people who may be suffering, condemned, cursed with generational trauma because of what was done to them, and still come back to the table. The most interesting thing to me in the world right now is what is Hamas going to do as this ceasefire appears to be gaining steam. And I'm saying this as a person without a strong sense of this trauma. I am not qualified to say what people with it do. It was offered me. In fact, a man once said to me, a slip of his, I think, that my being a quarter Armenian gave me this opportunity. He literally said, this gives you a chance at identity. The genocide. He was a great man, I don't see him anymore, but I hope he's all right. But I said only that I didn't feel that. I couldn't feel that, meaning I wasn't capable. I'd forget. And I offer that that might be a huge flaw. Not that I have some special strength or virtue. So I think those who have in their social, tribal, religious past a genuine generational trauma, they demand my sympathy and empathy and understanding, and they get it. Some African Americans, Jewish people I know, some Native people I know have got beyond this trauma or have transformed it into something, this hybrid persona, into something else. Stunning. I see it. As I see it, these people are heroic. Ilan Pape, Gabor Mate, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, Eldridge Cleaver. There's endless numbers of people who have, Harry Belafonte, the people in that trauma community, it can be said, most of us, it can, but I'll not say it because there are degrees to this. It can even be said, which I will say, trauma is good for us, natural to us. It's built into our sort of biological evolution, says Jung, even necessary to us. But what was done to these three groups, and dozens of others, I'm sure, I only choose three because they are people I have encounters and friendships with, plus women, a fourth, was just not necessary or natural. Atrocities were committed upon them by another group. And I can't shake it or bake it. That group is guilty of criminal behavior. Or those groups. I don't need to do that. Those groups, whoever did that, to whom it was not first done. One of the reasons these wounds don't heal is the offending party doesn't stop. Doesn't stop denying the behaviors, continue to humiliate, diminish, and oppress. So when people talk to me about, identity politics, blah, 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 it's generally that one group for whom identity means nothing because they have been the only identity for thousands of years. Right? They are the ones who have done unto others what was never done unto them. They're not Hamas. I think these victims, these offenders rather, are victims of generational guilt which becomes as traumatic as generational trauma. It is as debilitating. And it might require of us an evolutionary move, a departure from and towards. It is, I suppose it's natural to the guilty clump culture, society, and we forgive them who trespass against us, except they keep on trespassing. And they do that because they have transformed their acts or their trespasses, their atrocities on others into rights and virtues. This is in reality the American project. It could have been the other road. They could have taken that road several times in their history, and they didn't. We are all fixed by something. We're all in a sump, and we deal differently. My sister, born 3 years, 6 months exactly to the day after me, has a life history and background on paper just like me. Same race, class, educations, parents. She is she, which differs a lot, being she. I said the other day, a little cryptically, the neglect of us by our parents was the making of me. Only one of a lot of things that made me at the time. She was traumatized by it, she said, this neglect. She never felt safe, she said. I always felt safe. I figured out very early that reassurance would come from the outside. Now, I have to confess, and I've heard this before, R.D. Laing, that's the name of the psychologist, R.D. Laing, in the history of Jungians and thinkers about the idea of the parents is that they are good enough. You know, this attempt to be an idle parent is actually completely counterintuitive. It doesn't work. It makes you into monsters. Just advice. I figured out early that reassurance would come from the outside, and it was abundant. I asked for it maybe. My father told me the Arabs in Iraq, where I lived from the age of 2.5 till 5, treasure a blonde, blue-eyed, mythical child. And I was beneficiary. I was blonde and blue-eyed. Smiling faces looked on me all the time then. It leveled up the judgments in our parents. I was glad of the neglect. It took me beyond parent love, which is always conditional. One wasn't unloved, one had thousands of lovers. Dignifies the giver and the receiver. I ask you, it takes a village. It is what the village is for, and the village likes it. I experience all the time a kind of groupthink and a hive mind, and if it's cozy in there, it must be fragile cozy because it's not happy there. But it is a majority rule, so nothing can be done. And I have a theory that these people were overparented, that community. So when they come out into the world and people don't treat them like mom did, they're freaked out. And as our Judeo-Christian values the family so much, or this particular nuclear family, I think there's something there. Does the trauma language make a language, a shared language? Like Sabi just said, Democrats do not do well in power. They like to be out of power and complaining. Is it so powerful when spoken by the genuine sufferers that the rest get peevish and jealous? There was something to me about as I grew up with the Black Panther movement, Black Power, you know, all of that stuff, and it rose again in Black Lives Matter, and it's strong with us now. The Black community blossoming in some sense, that the other community is actually jealous, is peevish about this, and deeper. Or maybe the trauma we are all heir to, the natural fears, the saber-toothed terror, all needs acknowledging and looking at. Our values don't contain that. We don't explore ourselves. That's not our value. We make money. We develop the masks of success. That's our priority. Life is chivalry that way, I think, as if nature endows each of us with a capacity for catastrophe that we must look at. We must look at our Everests and our Titanics. We must look at these things. Our shadow. And we lost the skill. All in all, what comes to mind is that our values and how we address them do not serve us well. Selfishly speaking, it rewards certain types above the rest. I watched the film The Ides of March, 2011, I believe. George Clooney, Ryan Gosling, Giamatti, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. The last two, just so mighty. It's not very good to me. Clooney plays a politician. He's a very good, smooth actor playing a very good, smooth politician I'd not admire, vote for, nor trust ever. In other words, Clooney is performing as a successful politician. And you watch him and you go, yeah, no, he looks like the successful politicians who I look at and I go, I would never trust, admire, nor vote for you. Making performance choices that speak liar all the way. But everyone else in the film is enamored of him. That's the script. They're always so charismatic. He's so powerful. He's so this and he's not. Why? I asked pals I was watching it with, did they like him? Didn't get a straight answer, as if, who distrusts a movie star? Last night I watched To Catch a Killer with Ben Mendelsohn. Oh my, I was bouncing on the couch. Same thing, leader type, while Clooney was as real as the real politician, as real as J.D. Vance, really phony. Ben Mendelsohn was in some other fucking universe. Just watch it, just for him. Just this astonishing, it's like you going, oh no, that's a real person. That's not a performer performing as a performer. But it seems people trust these politicians. They trust Schumer, Chuck Schumer, or Elizabeth Warren. Why? I mean, because they are as artificial as we are.